In the previous episode, Ezekiel watched dry bones rise from a valley floor, reassembling into an exceedingly great army as the breath of God brought impossible life to certain death. He joined two sticks together, prophesying that the divided kingdoms would become one nation under one shepherd. Now Ezekiel receives his final and most elaborate vision, a detailed description of a temple that does not yet exist, and a river that will heal the world. Interpreters have long debated what this vision represents. Some see it as a literal blueprint for a future physical temple. Others understand it as a symbolic picture of restored worship and divine presence. Still others view it as an idealized vision of what perfect covenant faithfulness would look like. What is clear is that Ezekiel sees a future of restored relationship between God and his people, described in the architectural language a priest would understand. It is approximately 573 before the Common Era. 14 years have passed since Jerusalem fell. 25 years since Ezekiel was carried into exile. The prophet is now an old man. He has spent decades speaking to a people who did not want to hear. He has watched the temple burn from hundreds of miles away, seen it in visions, felt it in his bones. And now, on the anniversary of the city's destruction, God takes him back. In visions of God, he brought me to the land of Israel, and set me down on a very high mountain, on which was a structure like a city to the south. Ezekiel is transported, not physically, but in the spirit. He stands on a mountain overlooking something that does not yet exist, a structure like a city. When he brought me there, behold, there was a man whose appearance was like bronze, with a linen cord and a measuring reed in his hand, and he was standing in the gateway. A guide appears, bronze-like, shining, equipped for careful measurement. This figure will lead Ezekiel through every detail of the vision. And the man said to me, Son of man, look with your eyes, and hear with your ears, and set your heart upon all that I shall show you, for you were brought here in order that I might show it to you. Declare all that you see to the house of Israel. This is not casual observation. Ezekiel must look, hear, and understand. He must remember every detail to tell the exiles. What follows is one of the most detailed architectural descriptions in all of Scripture. 9 chapters of measurements, gates, courts, chambers, and regulations. The vision begins with the outer wall. The wall surrounded the temple on every side. The measuring reed was 6 cubits long, each cubit being a cubit and a handbreadth. So he measured the thickness of the wall and its height, each 1 reed. Precision matters. Every dimension is recorded. Whether literal or symbolic, the detail communicates that God's future dwelling will be ordered, intentional, perfect. Then Ezekiel is taken through the east gate. Its vestibule faced the inside, and palm trees were on its side posts. Then he brought me to the inner court through the south gate, and measured the south gate. It had the same measurements. The temple has multiple courts, outer and inner, each with gates on 3 sides. Each gate measured and recorded. The symmetry is perfect. The proportions are exact. Nothing is random or accidental. Then he brought me to the vestibule of the temple, and measured the jambs of the vestibule, 5 cubits on either side. The temple itself rises at the center, the holy place, the dwelling of God. And the breadth of the entrance was 14 cubits, and the side walls of the entrance were 3 cubits on either side. The length of the nave was 40 cubits, and its breadth 20 cubits. Dimensions that echo the tabernacle, echo Solomon's temple, but with differences. This temple is not a replica of what was destroyed. It is something new. Then he went into the inner room and measured the jambs of the entrance 2 cubits, and the entrance 6 cubits, and the side walls of the entrance 7 cubits. The inner room, the most holy place, the location of the ark in the previous temples, the place where God's presence dwelt, and he measured the length 20 cubits, and the breadth 20 cubits, a perfect cube, like the most holy place in Solomon's temple, the dimensions of divine perfection. And he said to me, "This is the most holy place." The guide identifies the space. This is where glory will dwell. Then Ezekiel is shown the chambers around the temple, the rooms for priests, the places for sacrifices, storage rooms for offerings, every practical need anticipated and provided for. The whole temple is raised on a platform. Steps lead to each court. The progression moves from outer to inner, from lower to sacred. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Then he led me to the gate facing east. The east gate, the direction from which the glory departed in Ezekiel's earlier vision. He had watched it leave, hovering, hesitating, finally rising over the Mount of Olives and vanishing. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel was coming from the east. And the sound of his coming was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his glory. The glory returns. The same glory that left is coming back. The roar of rushing waters fills the air. Light blazes across the landscape. And the vision I saw was just like the vision that I had seen when he came to destroy the city, and just like the vision that I had seen by the Chebar Canal. And I fell on my face. Ezekiel recognizes it. This is the same presence. The wheels within wheels, the living creatures, the throne above the crystal expanse, the one seated upon it with the appearance of gleaming metal. It has returned. As the glory of the Lord entered the temple by the gate facing east, the Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court. And behold, the glory of the Lord filled the temple. The glory fills the temple, not hovering reluctantly at the threshold, not hesitating before departure, filling it completely. The empty temple is empty no more. While the man was standing beside me, I heard one speaking to me out of the temple. A voice from within the glory speaks, "Son of man, this is the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the people of Israel forever." Forever. Not temporarily, not conditionally. Forever. The throne of God will rest here. His feet will touch this ground. His presence will never again depart. And the house of Israel shall no more defile my holy name, neither they nor their kings. The corruption that drove away the glory will not be repeated. The cycle of sin and departure will end. Now let them put away their whoring, and the dead bodies of their kings far from me, and I will dwell in their midst forever. The choice is clear: faithfulness and presence, or corruption and emptiness. But this time the promise has weight. God will dwell forever. The old pattern will be broken. Then Ezekiel receives detailed instructions about the altar, the measurements of the altar, the dimensions of its ledges and base, the sacrifices to be offered upon it. You shall give a bull from the herd for a sin offering. The priests shall throw salt on them and offer them up as a burnt offering to the Lord. The sacrificial system continues. Offerings for sin, offerings of dedication, the blood and fire of atonement. But something is different. The priests are specified. The regulations are detailed. The system is reformed, purified, aligned with divine intention. Then Ezekiel is shown something strange. The east gate is closed. And he said to me, "This gate shall remain shut. It shall not be opened, and no one shall enter by it. For the Lord, the God of Israel, has entered by it. Therefore it shall remain shut. The east gate will never open again. The glory entered through it. It is now sealed, sacred because of what passed through. Then comes the vision of the river. Then he brought me back to the door of the temple, and behold, water was issuing from below the threshold of the temple toward the east. Water flows from the temple, a trickle at first, emerging from beneath the threshold. The man goes out and measures. 1,000 cubits. The water is ankle deep. Again he measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not pass through. 1,000 more, knee deep. 1,000 more, a river impossible to cross. The trickle has become a torrent. What began as seepage has grown into a flood of life. And he said to me, Son of man, have you seen this? Look at what is happening. A stream from beneath the threshold has become a mighty river. Then he led me back to the bank of the river. As I went back, I saw on the bank of the river very many trees on the one side and on the other. Trees line both banks, a forest springing up where the water flows. And he said to me, This